face jugs in the area.
That sounds great.
Oh, you've got, okay, that's your trick.
That's my trick.
There's your trick.
How do I do that? How do I put all that on there?
Say.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah. I'd forgotten you did that. And that's. I know I'd done that at least once before, but I also know I had one open up on the bottom because I didn't quite seal it.
Well, you know, it's a challenge because in order to handle it, this has to be pretty hard, fairly stiff, leather hard on the back. Yet this has to soften up, so I'll just wet one side, and it'll soften, but then I can still pick it up by the back.
Gotcha.
If I did this, it would just collapse in my hand because this is all soft now.
Right.
And then at the very end, of course, I'll score it, but I dip it in water for a few minutes.
Smart.
I do that a couple of times before I put it on I'll throw a slab on the wheel.
So you do throw
and I'll attach it and then I'll trim it, and you can't tell. If you look at these, you can't tell that it's a false bottom, as they say.
I'm gonna get started while you're finishing that one up. I made one face jug earlier this year, just on the whim.
Okay.
Other than that, it'd been a long time. I'll try to keep my red clay mess to a
minimum. Yeah, that's all right.
My usual method is to go ahead and push in where the eyes will be.
Oh, okay, so you do that first. You know, when I do mine, I almost always start with the nose. Put the nose on first, and then from there.
To get a feel for the framing of it.
Yeah. I'm obviously I can see where you got the eyebrow, the ridge.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and that's kind of how I do it too. Yeah.
And that generally makes my jug forms have that more of a square shoulder rather than a soft curve. My main tools, I use this little chisel tip.
A chisel, interesting.
And then this guy is always good for smoothing down all the edges.
Yeah. You know, I really have never really I've got them here, and I can't say that I hardly ever use the rubber tips. Yeah. And they make a lot of sense, though.
And I've just got a variety of other round tip tools.
Okay.
And my slip and score.
Okay. Oh, well, that's a nice one, that size.
Use this just to get out any chunks that I've carved away.
Sure.
And the old needle tool.
Yeah.
Go-tos.
Yeah. I was showing your daughter earlier that that's my favorite tool.
Oh, cool.
And it is a sculpture tool. It's probably the only true sculpture tool that I use. Yeah. You know, I'll use
that's your slip and score there?
Slip and score right there. and occasionally a needle tool and, you know, various other things. A little brush to smooth out small edges.
Gotcha. So what kind of clay are you using for these?
Okay, so this is a 50-50 blend of the B-Mix and the Big White.
Oh.
And I like the Big White.
Lots of the tooth.
It has a lot of tooth. And on these pots, when I finish the face, I will stain it. And the tooth will kind of show up.
Right.
It almost looks dimpled like real face would.
Yeah.
And of course the iron oxide shows that off. And then when I go to glaze it, I'll line it with a glaze, but then I'll spray around it. And then there'll be a little overspray onto the piece, and that just helps with the shading. Yeah. But that's why I like Big White almost exclusively, because it gives that facial texture that I like.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. It probably helps a lot too with cracking. I know it doesn't shrink nearly as much with all that tooth in it.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Yeah, especially with attaching the base.
Yeah.
Yeah. I found in doing faces, I don't know if you have as well, but there's a lot of layering involved.
Yeah.
So I know when I put in the eyeballs, the lower lids go on first because the upper lids overlap the lower lids.
Right.
So you kind of layer it that way. And the same with this, and I'm going to give it a beard. I'm going to go ahead and essentially finish the beard, and then I'm going to put a mustache. And the mustache will overlap, at least on the edges here, the beard.
Yeah, see, I think we're different in that way, in that I do a lot more detailed carving those overlaps rather than actually having the clay.
Oh,
yeah, the natural overlaps.
Yeah. You know, I can see it. Yeah, I tend to.
But I think it's a slower process.
I do less carving.
Yeah,
I'm doing more addition.
Right.
You know, I occasionally have people who want me to do a caricature of somebody they know.
And have you taken any on?
No, not really. There's been some that, you know, that looks like Uncle George sort of thing.
Right.
But I know it would make me a better sculptor and potter if I did that.
Anytime you're pushing yourself out of your comfort zone,
yeah,
that's going to be the case. One time I took a special order to, I think it was a fellow's son-in-law.
Okay.
And it was just that he had a silly picture of him making an expressive face that the guy makes a lot, I guess.
Yeah.
And, he thought I could capture that really well, and when he sent me the picture, it was kind of like, I don't know, I wasn't as unique and expressive as I had imagined. So
gotcha.
It was kind of a challenge, but he was happy with it in the end. At least.
Oh, there you go.
He expressed as much to me.
Obviously, all of my faces are related.
Oh yeah.
And that's where if I did different people, and you know, expose me to different facial shapes, and I think it would make me a better potter or sculptor, certainly, or face jug maker.
There's a fine balance between making a study out of what you're doing and taking your time to really consider different things, and our usual mindset of, this is production pottery, I'm just trying to get it done, get it out there, move on to the next thing.
Yeah, that's the key. I mean, I just can't really justify it, truly.
So I'm actually using a deflocculated slip that
look at there.
I had mixed. It's actually got a different kind of iron in it. I think I used black iron oxide instead of red iron, because I was experimenting with casting slips, and the red iron, turned out the black iron did it too, but the iron in general wants to gel once it's been mixed into a deflocculated slip.
Yeah, interesting.
And sits for a short while, so it doesn't make for very good castings because it leaves a bunch of thick and thin streaks on the inside of the form. But I had enough left over, and when it fires, you can't tell the difference. So when it's green, you can see a difference in the color because of the iron. But
so tell me, what is the biggest advantage over the deflocculating slip?
Well, it's less. There's just less water in it.
Okay.
So if you're not adding that much extra water and exacerbating the shrinkage issue.
I see. Okay, but it's still fairly fluid.
And it's the nature of the structure of the clay particles wants to grab onto other clay more readily. It's more of an open form to where it can hold on to things better and use less water. So that's not to say I haven't had my issues even once I started using it, but the theory is it's
that makes sense.
Yeah, it is. It makes for like a stickier, less messy slip too for applying it on. I always just make real simple little, almost like tree face pieces.
There you go. That's your beginning. That's how you go. Okay. I just recently started making serious bags under their eyes.
Yeah. I like that. I usually accentuate that a lot, where multiple bags, like they look like they haven't gotten sleep in a week or so.
In a long time, yeah. So I usually kind of roughly do the hair, and then I'll come back with my toothbrush and refine it a little bit, and give it a little finer detail.
Ah, that's cool.
I bet your scoring tool might do that really well.
Yeah. Well, it's not that often that when I've done hair, I've usually just waited till it was pretty late into leather hard, and then just come at it with my carving tool.
Oh, and take it away.
Deeper lines that way.
Gotcha.
If it's rough, I'll just go over it with a brush.
Yeah, I take very little away. You know, I do a little bit, right? Just really refined detail. I'll take a little away. I'm usually adding more than I'm taking away.
Well, I add way more than I need, so I've got plenty to take
away. There you go.
Worrying about puncturing through, which definitely done a few times, especially early on.
I tell people we don't so much sell a pot as we sell a relationship and a story.
That's it. And that's that's one of the things I've come to realize just in the last couple of years, really, is that if you're doing something in a void, then who is it reaching? Like, I kind of told myself, I can just make really nice work, and the work will speak for itself on the shelf, and if people want to buy it, they'll buy it. But so much of collecting art and having something in your life and incorporating into your like daily habits and rituals basically is story based. And
that's right. Well, I came to that realization when you go to Walmart and you pick up a $10 mug, and it's perfectly serviceable. And it'll last forever.
They put in more, and they're probably engineers have considered the balance in it.
Yeah. So what am I selling that's so much different and that I want 3 times as much for?
Yeah.
So there's
definitely, we are making luxury house goods.
Yeah.
It is a luxury to get to use and be around something that's handmade in the modern context.
Well, and it's amazing that there's still a market for it.
Yeah. Well, that's
it must speak to something deeper.
Definitely.
Than, like you said, than just the object.
Definitely. Yeah, we want to understand where and how things are made and the people behind them. That's why I like it. I used to think like, why is wood firing still a thing? Like, it's a high loss rate. You're really limited in your color palette, and there's all these unpredictable variables. And then the more I've reflected on it, the more it's like, well, it sources back to the traditions of our ancestors, and each piece is a story depending on where it is in the kiln and all that sort of thing. Everything's coming back to narrative.
Well, as it is, I consider it a good day if I get 4 of these finished.
4?
Yeah. That's a good day. Yeah,
so you had how many in the damp box before you started putting faces on them?
Well, I ended up, we started with 12.
Okay.
And I'm just getting a few done a day.
Yeah, I think even when I was making them at my most prolific face jug phase, I don't think I'd do more than 4 or 5 at a time.
Okay.
And if I got, I would never, that's the thing, is I'd never spend a whole day just doing faces.
Okay.
So it'd just be something I'd get around to. And
yeah, well, I think that's, if you're trying to make a living, that's probably smart.
Yeah.
Because face jugs are fun to do, but they're not that lucrative, truthfully.
Yeah.
I feel like face jugs sell other pots, and they bring people into the gallery. So it's nice. I love having face jugs out on our front stoop of the gallery. That kind of grabs people's attention as they're driving by. But they also take so much time that I really only do them once a year. And since I'm only doing them once a year, I try to do a bunch of them. So this will give me 2 dozen so far. And I think I might try to get 3 dozen this year, but that will be it.
Yeah, that's kind of why I had stepped away from them for so long. It was like, man, we do a real time study between throwing the jug and taking all the time to detail it and get the face on there versus making more bread and butter items like mugs and bowls and what have you.
100%. The mugs are your most lucrative, at least it is for us.
Yeah, definitely. One that speaks to wanting to incorporate something into your daily, like something you know you're going to be using pretty much every day, and having a special story behind it. I think the mugs are the perfect vessel for that.
Well, and people can put it in their suitcase.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's why I see your big giant beautiful face jugs, and if there's a face mug there,
then they'll buy the face mug.
Exactly.
Yes.
10 times more likely to go for the mug rather than
the big pots always sell the small pots.
Mm-hmm.
So I like having them around, even if they're not the best sellers.
Definitely.
So occasionally we'll get somebody in, and if you got a big enough porch or whatever, someplace, where you want to put it.
So is the biggest one you've ever done that collaboration with Stewart?
Yeah, that big boy, I think is what we call it.
That was an awesome piece.
Yeah. Will said he was interested in collaborating with me on one, so we might do one at some point. Now, I don't know if you ever try to make any ladies.
I had one thing in college where I was making heads as the handles to the lids of jars.
Okay.
And one of them was a lady, and it probably took me 3 or 4 times longer to feel like it was okay enough. It was feminine enough to pass for a lady.
Yeah.
Versus the other 3 that were all masculine.
Well, I feel like I know I just need to use softer features.
Yeah.
But I swear I rarely attempt a lady, not because I'm sexist, just because all of my ladies, at least in my eyes, just look like men in drag.
Right.
So I'll let other people do some ladies.
Yeah. What's her name? You got an artist who sells out of here in Waynesville who does lovely face pots.
And she mentioned that she's moving her studio, and they're going to have one together, her and her mom. And her mom is an established wheel thrower.
Really?
And so she wants her mom to make some jugs and let her put the faces on. And I said, that would be fantastic.
That would be.
And please make some ladies, and we'll have some lady jugs.
All these guy jugs are going to go crazy.
Yeah, that's right.
Two in the gallery.
That's right.
Start competing.
So I didn't have any really formal training in sculpture, other than my father's mentor when he was in Fort Worth, Texas, was a lady by the name of Evelyn Sellers, and she worked for I forget what her position was, maybe director. Anyhow, the Fort Worth Museum of Fine Art in Texas. And Dad got her to come up and do a few workshops when he was down in Columbus, Georgia. And I got to take a couple. One was a bust, and another was small animal. Well, no, one was small figure. I didn't do the bust. I did one a figure of somebody, and then I did a small animal sculpture.
Okay, cool.
And so that's all the training I've ever had with those weekend workshops. But one of the main things that I remember specifically about her is she did an incredible job. She had an armature, and she would just pull out the clay, and she had to slap it on there and very quickly rough out what you were looking at, and then you would, what you're doing now, where you take it away to refine it. And after she'd done that, she talked about it, and she says, "You guys got that?" And then she tore it up. And her point was this. She says, "I don't want your sculptures to look like mine. I want you to do your own thing, because otherwise you're going to look at what I did."
Right.
Yes. And that stuck with me.
That's cool. Yeah, it's inevitable to be looking towards the teacher to be like, oh, okay, they did it this way.
Yeah, exactly.
That's cool. Evelyn Sellers.
Evelyn Sellers, you have to look her up. She had some beautiful work.
Your dad worked for her in Fort Worth.
In Fort Worth, well, he apprenticed under her, so he did other things for a living. But then he would go and spend time with her just to refine some of his skills.
I see. And then after he had moved to Georgia, he invited her to come out and do the workshops.
Do some workshops after he became the director of David Pottery studio down at the rec department there. He started that program. So they would have a big Christmas sale every year where the students would sell their work just to the general public, and he kept 25% of the proceeds, which then went into a fund to either buy new equipment for the studio or to pay for workshops.
So that's how we got Evelyn to come out.
Yeah, that's right.
Awesome.
Yeah. So that's the rest of that story. And it's still going on as far as I know.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So Evelyn was more of a sculptor?
She was a sculptor. I'm sure she knew. I never saw her throw, but I know she was familiar with it. She was an incredible sculptor. I got to see some of her pieces.
What sort of apprentice type work?
He just worked in the studio, so he helped her prepare the clay and the glaze and what I really don't know all of what he did other than he was her apprentice.
Gotcha.
And of course, Dad had a minor in art when he was in college.
Oh yeah.
But he had never done pottery until he went out to a workshop when I was just a baby in Calexico, California.
Huh.
And he said at the end of the workshop he had a mug to show for it.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay. So.
Well, did he ever do face jugs?
Yes. Now he did a few ones that he would throw the jug and Mom would put the face on.
That's it.
And as I think I told you before, she had no formal arts training. It was very primitive.
Mm-hmm. Well, in a lot of ways, that's what people are looking for.
That's what they want. I mean, it was in that sense, it was very authentic.
Yes.
We still have a few, or I know my sister has a few of those jugs.
Cool.
Okay, I'm trying to think of what else I need to do to the face. I think the next step that I need to do is to actually put the base on.
Yeah.
For this one. But I can see what you mean about how you put it on and then you take it away.
And then I take a lot away.
Yeah.
Usually, whatever I had in mind at first, really adjust to how I see things coming along at this stage. It's I like to think when I'm throwing pots, I've got a vision for what I want to accomplish.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And I work towards that vision. Whereas when I do this, I roughly have an idea, and then as it comes along, it's like, well, maybe it should be more of an open mouth smile.
Gotcha.
Or maybe his eyes should be bigger. Or whatnot.
Gotcha.
Kind of responding to it more than I usually would.
But yeah, I used to just roll out a slab, but I find that just throwing one works just as well. And I always have to put the slab, regardless, on the wheel to recenter it before I put the base, put them together. So I might as well just throw it out.
I feel like you get better compression anyway.
Oh yeah, you're getting very good compression here. There you go. Okay. Let's see. Oh yeah, there's gonna be plenty there. Let's stick them there for a moment. I usually go ahead and score it. Now this guy, I need to actually go over to the water, and I am going to completely dip it. Soak it. I'll hold it for at least a minute or two. And I mean, not the top that I'm holding, but just the base. I need it to equalize a little bit. You know, when I first started making these jugs, I would layer on layers of clay on, you know, on a thrown piece with the bottom. Mm-hmm. And it was always kind of frustrating, you know, trying to smooth it out to get it to have a natural look. And at some point, I just decided, well, I think I could push that out from the inside. If I could, first I tried to use a throwing stick that would kind of fit inside and try to poke it out. And then it occurred to me, why don't I just, I've saved pots where I've cut the bottoms out, why don't I just give it a false bottom? And
no, I think you're onto something, especially with the groggier clay body to where...
Yes, you're right, it'll take that better. So, of course, the challenge is to recenter it, just like trimming, really. Get this as close to centered as possible.
I'll tell you though, nothing makes me more nervous than a pot on the wheel that's got a handle and detail that...
I don't want to touch anything up here. I just kind of ignore all that stuff sticking out.
Yeah.
I think that's about as close to center as I'm going to get. So I'm going to score that a little bit. Press it down, make sure it's good and attached. So what I do here is probably overkill, but I'm going to kind of throw a little bit up the sides, try to really bring it together, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to trim it. Oh. Trim it back to where it's very even, and you really can't tell that these are, you know, two separate pieces. I'm going to pull up that little coil there at the bottom, and compressing it together as well.
It's overkill. I think that's the stage in which was my downfall when I tried that technique, because I didn't compress it enough, or there was too much of a differential between the wetness of the bottom and the top, soaking it for a little while and then taking the extra time to pull it up into the face part.
Well, it is really amazing how clay, so long as it hasn't gotten bone hard, how it will rehydrate very easily.
Right. Pre-World War II, face jugs were not a part of North Carolina.
Oh, okay. That's good to know. I did not realize that.
Yeah, it was
mostly Georgia and South Carolina?
Georgia and South Carolina. Yeah, the things I found online were really focusing on the slave population of Edgefield, South Carolina.
Yeah, Dave the slave, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And they're making them as that's what Jim McDowell gets into, making them as like ceremonial pieces to be buried, you know, the spirits to bury underneath the lintel of a home to keep it safe, or to represent, or even be used as a grave marker instead of an official grave marker. But yeah, it was all tourism based after World War II.
I read that somewhere as well. That, you know, there was a market for these ugly jugs. So.
Right. And yeah, so like lanyard metters and
is it Berlin Craig?
Berlin Craig. A lot of times their jugs would be bought brand new and then driven up north and marketed as being antique, slave made.
Okay.
It's kind of a racket.
It does sound like a racket.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. An interesting thing, at least in our gallery, is that we definitely can sell the face jugs and things, but to sell a plain jug, you almost have to just give them away.
I know it. Yeah, no one's interested. Like, it's not relevant to lifestyles anymore.
No,
like,
that's right.
Yeah, you're brewing your own cider or whatever.
Yeah.
You need something to put it in.
Okay, so he's got his mustache and beard. I think that's enough for him. Usually do cut these free. I don't want them sticking to the base as it's, you know.
Right. Yeah, you want it to.
I don't want it to
shrink together.
Yes, exactly. So I usually go ahead and cut it at this point. I should unplug that, shouldn't I?
Oh, don't worry about that.
Uh-huh.
Just a good sign when there's people coming in and out of the gallery.
She does have a full parking lot.
Yeah.
Now, what I don't do much of is our ears. It's been a long time since I put an ear on.
Well, I contemplated it while you were gone. I was like, well, I think I might as well. Since
Yeah,
I don't make them that often, and it adds a lot.
Yeah, well, it definitely does. Yeah, I like what you got going on there.
Man. Coming along.
Oh, this is fun for you too. You're getting to do something you don't get to do.
Absolutely.
Very
Like
often.
I said, I made one earlier this year on a whim, and it made me kind of be like, man, I miss doing that.
You know, my dad never sold at a gallery when I was growing up, but we would do festivals a few times a year, and that was always a lot of fun. Of course, there was 4 of us kids, but we would go and help Dad set up the booth, but we wouldn't hang around. You know, there's so many things to do in the festival.
Of course.
So we would go off and see what we could find, or we'd have a little bit of money and, you know, buy a snow cone or whatever, you know, whatever they're selling. But we would also make pots to sell at the festival, you know, for us to see, just like sailors.
Yeah.
So we'd make our little pots, and we would take off, and we would come back, and we would have sold out.
No way.
And it was so inspiring. That just made us want to make more. Well, we found out later that after we left, they would give the pots away.
It was a ruse.
It was a ruse, and then they would credit us with the sale.
Oh, there you go, though. At least you got paid in the end.
Yeah, we got
and
paid.
It was a motivator.
It was the motivator. It was, so we were very excited.
That's great. Well, yeah, I would imagine sticking around the booth it takes the kid being there to help sell the kids' pots.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
With Salo the one time.
Oh yeah,
she
yeah.
had been selling at the fall festival thing that we'd set up at. We got her own little side table, and
perfect.
She made signs. She hand drew a few business cards even.
Perfect.
And she didn't exactly sell out, but she made a couple $100 actually. Way more than we anticipated.
Yeah, fantastic.
Like, okay, well,
that's funny.
she doesn't know what to do with this money.
No.
Hold on to it for a little while.
Yeah, you can put it into a little account for her.
That's it. That's what we're doing. But it's great to be able to, give the kid, even if it's manufactured and artificial, giving the kids the bug for getting the feel for that.
Yeah.
The good feeling you get from people appreciating your work and being willing to pay you for it. It's a special thing growing up in a family of artists and potters and getting to be around it your whole life.
That's right. And they want, it'll just be natural, normal. They want to know about how special that was until later.
Right. Well, it certainly stuck for you and Brad.
Yeah, it did. It did.
Well, yeah, your brother Brad does a lot of face.
Oh, now Brad is he's doing it much longer than I have.
Yeah.
And he's really one who really developed it in our family, and he's very quick, very gestural, it's very artistic the way he does it. You know, to be able to get the essence of something without a lot of detail.
What I'm doing right
well,
now.
And me too. I tend to spend a lot of time in detail. So he can actually make a living at making face
I mean,
jugs.
that's what I remember about visiting his gallery is that there's no lack of face pots all over, and they're reasonably priced.
Yeah, because he can do them very quickly.
Yeah, he gets them out.
Yeah.
So I know there was that one time you had a customer buy a face jug, and they documented it traveling around the world.
Yeah, we got still. In fact, I was thinking of bringing it in here, that picture, and doing something similar.
Yeah.
It was one where I've got it winking.
Oh, right.
And that was somewhat of a challenge for me, so that's why I'd like to look at that picture to recreate it.
Refresh yourself.
Yeah. I may have to do that one again. But you really contort the face a little bit. The nose kind of bends a little bit, and your cheeks are different heights, and the eyebrow coming down. And
when I was really in the throes of doing a lot of them, I'd set up in front of a little mirror and contort my face sometimes. And see. Sure. It's tough, you know. You try to mimic what's going on, but there's so many subtleties. That's the thing why I think face pots are so interesting, is that we don't even register how many subtle things we pick up in other people's faces when we're talking to them.
Well, and I could see if I was a serious student of sculpture, where learning more about anatomy and the underlying muscle structures
definitely
would be a real help.
Yeah, I've got a book by a fellow he lays all that out first, of just like, and the entire figure form, it's muscles, building it out one muscle at a time, and then smoothing it over with the skin.
Yeah.
Kind of overwhelming, think of it like that.
Yeah, that is a lot of detail.
Sure does.
Okay. Got my nose. And I've gotten some good advice from Mike Malone. You know, he does a lot of sculpture, and he's come in and he was telling me about the Nairs, you know, and how I was just kind of sticking a round hole. And he says that's a pig nose. People, you know, they're oblong. They're not round. And no, I never noticed that.
It's funny things like that like I was always bad about like not having my eyelids overlapping well, and just having big round eyes for some of my initial ones. Which is more true to the original kind of like, you know, slave jug.
Sure.
You know, ugly voodoo jug style.
Yeah.
But that's what Molly said something to me one day, and he's like, I never even thought of it or saw it that way. Now that she did say it, it's all I can see.
Yeah. Okay, so right now it's all pretty much leather hard. So this is where I'll start by wetting the interior. But it's got to start reabsorbing. I'll spritz it. I'll actually let that sit a while, and I'll start on another nose. I normally work on two at a time.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, yeah.
So that one's got to soften
before you can start manipulating the walls.
Yeah, exactly. Finished. I got an order for 30 mugs that they need by April 1st. I just got the final approval for the style mug today, so I've got to get working on that order.
call mine done for the day.
Well, it looks great.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm always a lot happier with them once I've put about another hour into sitting down with them.
Yeah, yeah, sure, and getting that
honing
detail.
in on the details and getting the hours just right. But
sure,
it's fun. And I think same thing. I know mine are all related. I feel like I've made this
guy before. Yeah.
Okay. John and I have been having a good time working on Jugs together today.
That's right. Like old times.
Trying to get a recording. That's right.
Okay, so I'm just starting just starting on this one.
Oh, you can see back here all the good stuff.
Okay, so that's looking a little bit more like a nose. Now I've got to always have to add some for the, what is it, the septum?
Yeah, the septum part. That's what I thought I had left myself enough, but I added a little coil. Stuck it in there too. Sticking their nose.
Yeah. Too fair amount of that for these things.
I can't help it.
I wouldn't got my finger up the nose.
Oh, Cindy is coming in.
Is Cindy coming in?
Been a lot of fun sitting here with this guy, and just like old times.
Just like old
making
times.
pots shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah.
And he's been busy. I don't know if you can see all these faces up here.
Oh yeah. That looks great.
I'm just putting the nose on this guy. I always start with the nose. I do this about once a year. I sit down and make a few dozen, and then just kind of get faced out, you know. You're used to sitting down and making a few dozen mugs. I sit down, I make a couple of face jugs in the same amount of time.
Yeah, but they sell for a lot more than a mug.
Well, they sell for a lot more, but if you did it by hour, the mugs are much more profitable.
Yeah.
So I'm wetting the jug because I'm about to. Now this one's probably going to have to sit a little bit, so I'm going to grab one I pre-wet. Let's see if this one's softened up a little bit. There we go. I might have gotten. I got to be careful.
No.
I'll try to spray away from the computer.
Just water.
I make these without a bottom. And then I'm going to put my hand up on the inside and push out the, like the forehead. So I can put my hand on the inside. I'm going to re-wet it a little bit on the inside as well. It's still leather hard. So I'm trying to re-wet it. So you can see my finger kind of going through as I'm pushing out the forehead here. The whole idea is I want to make my face jug look like it's just growing right out of the pot. It was what I've always strived for. Let's see. Just about got the forehead. See how that's beginning to bulge outward. And then I can also do the cheeks. It's amazing how clay will rehydrate.
Yes.
And so I'm using that to my advantage. So I did not wet the backside. It's still leather hard, so I can support it.
Yeah.
Without it collapsing. I'm just doing the side that I'm working on. I'm just wet that side.
John's got the shortcuts.
No, yeah. The trick is putting the bottom on so it stays on. This is my favorite tool. It's a regular sculptor's tool.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't say I've ever used it on my throne pots normally, but when I'm doing these face jugs, that's really helpful. This is still soft enough for me to press it in for the eyes. So I'll start that. I'll try to do a mirror image on this side. So I'll show you what I've done so far. It's beginning to come along. What the great thing is it has this little cupped area.
Yeah.
And when I start to do the detail for the eyelids and things, I kind of round it. And it actually makes that much easier.
Right.
So I'll show you what I'm up to right now. I'm working on the bags under the eyes right now.
I'm familiar with
The
bags.
eyes are starting. But
Kind of creepy when they don't have mouths like that.
yeah, no mouth yet. But I'm also
So you put a ball in there for the eyeball.
yeah, so you can see where the eyeball is. I've put it in, and
Now the little brow, the above, is that pressed in?
here,
No.
no, you mean right here?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so I impressed that, but
Okay.
I pushed this out from the inside for
Yes. Yes.
the
And those are just little coils for the wrinkles.
yeah, exactly. The upper lid, so I did the lower lid first. The upper lid always overlaps the lower lid. So you put the lower lid in, but also the iris and the parts of the eye now. Pupil, yeah. The upper lid will often droop down over that as well. So if I'm going to give it an iris, I got to do that now. And I'll use the rounded end for this. And usually as opposed to having them just stare right at you, I think looks a little more normal if it's just kind of looking off to the side.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead, we'll put one right here.
Yep.
And the hardest part is to get the next one exactly aligned. A lot of mine, if you look at them, they have lazy eyes. But so anyhow, so I do the cornea now. I mean the
Pupil.
iris, and now I'm going to do the pupil. So
Okay.
take the end of something else, and of course, it's all about shading.
Yeah. So simple, but so perfectly captures it.
There you go.
That's
Yeah. All right.
Got some eyes. Now I would do that actually upper lid.
Yeah.
So I usually just make a coil, and then so that they're approximately the same, I'll bend it in half. So I was telling Klayton earlier though that I got some of the best advice I ever got was from Shannon on doing this, because she's has a theater background, and she said,
Oh yeah.
she says that because I was trying for bilateral symmetry.
Mm-hmm.
She said nobody is perfectly aligned on both sides. There's always a little slight differences, and that's what makes them look like real people. So I thought that was good advice. And I've been putting those little pieces in there because I noticed that eyes have I don't know if it's a teardrop or something right there right in the corner.
Right.
No. Okay. So let's do the next one. And of course, it's overlapping on this end.
Nice.
And that's where I come back with my tool with the nice scooped in, because then you can, first thing I'll do is smooth it all together. And then you can come back and you can catch it with that scooped in. Something else I learned, if you're trying to make it a little more realistic, is for eyes that are open, you're going to have this little groove back here. Kind of where the eyelid's recessed. If I close the eye, you would not have that distinct line. It smooths out.
Right.
Well, I'm trying to use some of the natural lines that from I don't know and that's my brother does that too, but he's so much faster. I mean, it's zip 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 zip, and he's done. And that's how you make a living doing faces. But I mean, I really admire it because he gets the essence. I think that takes a real artist to, with just a few strokes, get the essence of whatever you're doing. Right. And in a sense, I'm less of an artist and more of a craftsman. I admire people who have that talent, though. So now I'm just going to kind of wet it and kind of building up the better. There's one side.
Cool.
And this one I'm going to have raised just a little bit.
I was about to say, he looks like he's
inquiring.
Yeah,
something's interesting. He's got
Yeah, you want to take my daughter where?
Anyhow, I'll do something like that.
awesome.
And then I come back with once again, I love to use this tool for just about everything. And just kind of put lines in it. Kind of suggests like, hair on the eyebrow. And I do like my guys to have very bushy eyebrows.
Nice.
Do the same on this side. So I usually come back with my toothbrush to just refine this a little bit. Smooths it out some, but it gives it some of the finer lines.
Yeah.
I'm really trying to make it look like hair.
Yeah.
There we go. You can see how
Awesome.
Cool.
and of course I do that for whether it's a mustache or a beard or whatever. I do it all the same way. I will say that my favorite guys though aren't the ones with the eyes open. I like the ones where they are how can I say it, look very reposed with their eyes closed, and those are my favorites. Okay, well, you can kind of imagine what the rest of it would look like.
Yeah, it's a great
with the
start.
mouth, and and at this point I would decide, do I want to give them teeth or what? I would put the teeth on first, and then put the lips, because the lips overlap the teeth. I would put the top lip on, and then I would then do the bottom lip, and smooth it all together. And
Awesome.
Cool.